Hey everyone, as you can see on the banner here, Kayo is a pest. And I'm investigating how he plays, what his cards do, and I'm going to be going through each of the cards in the deck that I've got here and reading out the text for anybody to be listening to as they drive, or maybe you're just watching the video, pretty boring to watch, but at any rate, I'm going to be going through them step by step. Yeah, I'm learning about Kayo so I can try and beat this guy. He's such a pest at the moment, and I'm struggling to beat him. So let's read his hero text here. Yeah, he says, you have one weapon zone. You may only have one one-handed weapon or offhand equipped. Attack action cards you own get +1 attack while they're in any zone other than the combat chain, and the first time you discard a card with 6 or more attack power during each of your action phases, create a might token. Next, this guy's running Apex Bonebreaker. It says, when this defends together with a card with 6 or more attack power, create a might token. It's got Temper. When the combat chain closes, if this defended, put a -1 counter on it. If it has 0, destroy it. So you get to block once, block once for 2, block once for 1. Creating a might token if you block with a card with attack power 6 or more. Fiendal Spring Tunic, at the start of your turn, if this has fewer than 3 energy counters, you may put an energy counter on it. Instant, remove 3 energy counters from this, gain 1 resource point. Blade Break, when the combat chain closes, if this defended, destroy it. Most people will probably know that already, but just wanted to read it out for those of you who were not aware. Once per turn action, the Mandible Claw. Once per turn action, 2 resources, attack. If you've discarded a card with 6 or more this attack power this turn, Mandible Claw attacks go again. So I still don't understand like what goes on here, who discards, like how he discards. I guess he's discarding from the cards themselves have this ability to discard a card. I think that's how it works. So if you don't do that, then just goes once and no go again, which is pretty crap, but he doesn't do that. Scabskin Leathers. This is the leg slot. Once per turn actions for 0, roll a 6-sided die. Gain action points equal to half the number rolled, rounded down. Battle Worn, if you defend with Scabskin Leathers, put a -1 counter on it when the combat chain closes. -1 counter. Yeah, so this just blocks for 2, then 1, and doesn't blow up when it's done. It just sits there, and they can always roll a 6-sided dice and try and gain action points. Scowling Flesh Bag. This is a Dusk Till Dawn head. When this defends, Intimidate. Target hero banishes face down a random card from their hand at the beginning of the end phase. Return it to its owner's hand. Blade Break. When the combat chain closes, if this defended, destroy it. So this only blocks for 2 and then it's gone. And this is a really good way for them to stop pummels and things like that. They can intimidate the card from your hand basically at any time they want on one of your attacks. So it's kind of, if they're expecting a react of any kind, then yeah, they can use this to get rid of that, which is cool. Okay, so that's the basic equipment suite. We'll go into the cards. So Bare Fangs. We've got a red pitch, 2 costs, 6 attack. This is just a standard attack. When this attacks, draw a card, then discard a random card. If a card with 6 or more attack power is discarded this way, it gets +2. So I guess it's a bit random, but if they did have like, obviously they're going to pitch a card to play this. So they say they pitch a blue, and then they have this. Then they play this. Then they've only got 2 cards in hand. If they've both got power of 6 or more, then potentially they're getting that 2 is a bit of a shoo-in. It's not an amazing card without that. So imagine if you only had one, attack action card with 6 and the other with less, then you may not want to play it. I don't know. Because Command and Conquer is for 2 as well. It attacks for 6 and it destroys their arsenal. So it's on face value, it's kind of, this is a much better card, but this has the ability to gain that extra 2, which is kind of cool. Pack Hunt. Super old card, reprinted in Heavy Hitters. This is a red pitch as well, 2 cost, 6. When this attacks, Intimidate. So basically, yeah, it just intimidates a card out of the opponent's hand, and then it returns at the end of your turn. So not too sure why this is so good in this deck, but I guess 2 for 6 is pretty good as it is. Again, Command and Conquer is a better card, but intimidating, yeah, I don't know. This is game plan, I guess. Trying to understand this character. So I never really even looked into brutes before. Never really took much notice of them. Didn't have too many troubles beating him in the past, or at least being competitive. But as I have mentioned, Kayo is an absolute pest at the moment, and I really need to pull apart what cards he's using and why he's using them, and just try and figure out a strategy to beating him. I do know there's a strategy to fatigue him out, which does work, because one of my local players at Jolt Games in Canberra took Fatigue Bravo to one of the RTNs in Canberra at Aki, I think it was, Aki Canberra, and he took it out. So he must have, I'm pretty sure he beat quite a few KOs. Not a huge fan of a fatigue strategy, but hey, if that's what's required to beat this guy, then I guess that's what we have to do. Or we can change. To be honest, I've been considering playing him because he's just so good. But there's a couple of people in my local meta that have already picked him up, and so I'm not too keen to do that. Rather try and beat him. So, okay, big swing. This is an Everfest card, so reasonably old. This is a 2 cost 8, which is pretty tough. That's pretty tough on its own. If Swing Big, did I say big swing? Swing Big. Swing Big. If Swing Big doesn't hit, the defending hero creates a quicken token when the combat chain closes. That's great, except that Bravo sometimes struggles to use quicken tokens because everything costs a lot of resources. But anyway, if you do feel like getting, yeah, it's also very hard to block out and then have enough resources to attack twice. But anyway, initially when I saw this card being played, I was like, oh, I got to block it out and get the quicken token. Yeah, but it's not that relevant in my experience. But hey, I could be wrong. Let me know, obviously, if you think otherwise. Be very keen to hear. So we've got Wild Ride here, which is another 6 attack for 2. I'm noticing a theme here. We've got a lot of cards, 6 attack for 2. Also, the Swing Big, which is an 8 attack for 2. So, pretty good on the resources, leaving you 1 spare. I'm not sure what you want the 1 spare for at this stage. Kind of annoying, because you've got, if you're going to use one of these cards, it's 2 resources. If you're going to use Mandible, it's 2. So that's 4 all up, which is not very economical. So maybe, don't know. How many reds? We're playing with 18 reds. Interesting. Okay, so anyway, Wild Ride, we've got another one here. When this attacks, draw a card, then discard a random card. If a card with 6 or more is discarded this way, gets Go Again. So this is a great way, obviously, to get Go Again. This is obviously why this is in the deck. I'm not entirely sure why these other ones are in the deck. I'm not sure where the Go Again is coming from, but I mean, every time I play a Kayo, he seems to hit twice, and usually it's 6+ each time. It's usually 6, 8, or more. 6 and 8. So that's 14. So yeah, it's pretty brutal. The value, even just on the cards that we're looking at so far, if you can get Go Again on these, it's, you're talking either a 2 6s if you got Go Again and you use 2 cards, or if you can get Go Again twice, then you're going 6, 6, and then Mandible Claw for another 3. So that's 15. And then if you got the big swing, you're looking at 14. It's value town for sure. So anyway, that's Wild Ride. Let's move on. So next we got an attack action here. So 3. We have a look at the yellow first. So this is yellow pitch, 3 cost. So looks like, okay, 3 cost 6, but looks like this is generally played as an instant to give go again. So you're not going to necessarily attack with this. This is just a card, an enabler to give go again. So in that sense, I spoke about my values sort of ideas around go again and have given a tentative value of 2 to go again. So I mean, just for the sake of putting an argument forward and seeing whether it sticks. I hadn't thought about what the value of go again was necessarily until my previous video on Kasai, where I was like, it might be helpful to do that. But so anyway, if this does give you a way to get go again, it costs 3. You're not necessarily going to play this, or even though playing it would probably give you more value. You have 3 per card. Just pitching this alone gives you an agility token, which gives you go again. I believe you can do that in the same turn with an agility go again. An agility at the start of your turn, destroy this. Then your next, no, it's next turn. So it doesn't give you go again this turn, but the following one. Anyway, so it gives you 2 points of value, which is kind of, in my mind, like at least -1, possibly -2 points of value there. So it kind of somewhat kind of evens up the fact that you got these big swings here, which are clearly, way above rate. Very good cards. But anyway, playing the blues as well there can be obviously pitched for 3 points. The yellows can also be pitched for 2 points. So a lot of synergy there between the pitching values and the ability to give go again, and not choosing to have the reds, probably because there's no value really in the actual cards play itself. It's all about either pitching it or using the instant, discarding it for the agility token. So Beast Within, we've got another yellow pitch, 3 cost. I think this is a fairly old school. Yeah, this is a crew cards that have been around for a long time. And it says, if Beast Within is put into a graveyard from anywhere other than the combat chain, banish the top card of your deck and lose 1 life. If it has 6 or more, put it into your hand. Otherwise, repeat this process. Okay, this blows my mind. I'm not sure. I mean, I'm sure for brute players, this is just commonplace. You understand how this works. But to me, as a non-brute player, this blows me up. I don't know what's going on here. So what are you doing? This is a brute action, an attack action. So what are you playing this? 3 for 6. If Beast Within is put into a graveyard. Okay, so the text is not talking about playing it. The text is talking about if you're blocking with it. Is that right? Put into your graveyard. Or else after you've attacked with it when it goes to the graveyard. There's another time that it goes to the graveyard, or obviously if somebody banishes it to the graveyard. No, they don't banish to the graveyard. I'm not sure. I think those are the only 2 instances. So let's just say, for instance, the brute plays this, attacks for 6. Then if Beast Within is put in the graveyard from anywhere other than the combat chain, so not from the combat chain, only when it's being, I think, discarded. So discarded. Let's see which one of these cards. When this card attacks, draw a card, then discard a card. Okay, so here you go. So if you drew that up, or you had it in your hand, and then you happen to randomly discard the Beast Within card, then you banish the top card of your deck and lose 1 life. Well, that doesn't seem too great. If it has 6 or more attack, okay. If it has 6 or more attack, put it into your hand. Okay, so since you've got a deck that's got primarily 6 attacks, and for Kayo even 5 attacks count as a 6. So E-Strike, I don't know, whatever other cards he may play that are 5, looks like Reincarnate. If this gets banished, it basically goes to banish, then straight to your hand, and otherwise repeat this process. So you banish 1. If it's not 6, so say it was some random action, Warmongers or something like that, then you lose 1 life, then you have to do it again. And you could do that like 3 or 4 times. I mean, I imagine pretty much every time you do it, it's going to pop off. So you'll lose 1 life and then put it into your hand. So it's a really strange kind of mechanic that allows you to basically just regain the card which you've discarded. So say with the Bare Fangs, you discard the Beast Within and then you get another one. So keeping cards in your hand, I suppose, is a fair way to put it. It doesn't buff it doesn't do anything like that. But yeah. So I just want to go back real quick. Wasn't there something here in the equipment suite, or was it the Heroes itself? The first time you discard a card with 6 or more during each of your active phases, create a might. Okay, so not only would you get the card back, but then you'd create a might off that. So that's kind of tough, just adding another value on top. Okay, Blood Rush Bellow. Anyone who's played the game knows this is one of the core pieces of the Brute gameplay. I have noted that Blood Rush Bellow, in one video that I was watching online, they were saying that it potentially is not required to play KO. So maybe there's 2 builds. One is a Blood Rush Bellows Bellow deck, and then there may be another kind. I don't know, but this particular Brute deck is using it. So let's read it out. It's a yellow pitch, 1 cost, Brute action, and 3 block. As an additional cost to play Blood Rush Bellow, discard a random card. So another chance to discard a Beast Within. Your Brute attacks gain +2 this turn. So I believe that's all. Yeah, that is definitely all Brute attacks get a +2. So good to play at the start of a turn, I believe. Pretty hefty on cost. You got to pitch 1 and then discard 1. So you've lost 2 cards. This has only cost of 1. So that if you're pitching a blue, then you've got 2 floating, which is about what I was talking about with the synergy before, being 2 cost here. So easily can play any of these 6 attacks, and if you can get go again, then you can also wait a sec, no. So you can either play those or play the Mandible Claw, but it does work in nicely with that sort of staggered pitching. What would I say? Quantities? I don't know. Pitching, yeah, pitching mechanic. Let's go with that. So if the discarded card has 6 or more, draw 2 cards. Oh my god. So this is like just crazy, right? So I'm just going to go back to the start here and read this again. So as an additional cost to play Blood Rush Bellow, discard a random card. So you've pitched 1, you got 2 floating, you discard a random card. Your Brute attacks gain +2 this turn, which is pretty good. And if the discarded card is 6 or more, then draw 2 cards, and Blood Rush Bellow gains go again. Okay, so let me see. If the discarded has 6, if it doesn't have 6 or more, then you need go again. So it shuts you down. Is that not like really hard to play? Maybe I don't understand this. It's again like the same with Beast Within. Like if you're a Brute player, then yeah, makes perfect sense. But this is the first time I've really read this card in any depth, and this is seriously weird. Like what the hell is going on here, right? So you pitch a card, paying 1, potentially 2 floating, your brute attacks gain +2 this turn. That's great. But then, if the card that you discarded has 6 or more, draw 2 cards and Blood Rush Bellows gains go again. If you happen to discard a card that's not 6, so it's safe to say I think that almost everything that Kayo plays, well, I think almost everything. I mean, the worst thing that could happen is you might have, like, I don't know, a second Blood Rush Bellow in your hand, and then when you randomly discard a card, you know, you have to discard this one, and you don't get go again, so your turn just ends, right? If the discarded card is 6 or more. If it's not 6 or more, okay, I'm pretty sure that's how it works. Let me know if that's not the case. But it looks to me like, yeah, that's the case. So playing the dice rolling dynamic here quite a bit, you know, adding to the theme of the Berserker, the Brute, the Berserker. I assume, like, I call him a Berserker. This guy, I think, is definitely a Berserker. I mean, look at that, right? He's Berserk. He's absolutely berserk. Okay, so let's keep going with this. So Blood Rush Bellow. Let's move into the blue pitches now. So we got Assault and Battery, 3 cost, 5 attack. So again, because of Kayo's ability, this is counted as a 6 for discarding purposes or other things like that. I don't know that I've seen a card yet, other than Blood Rush Bellow, that isn't counted as a 6. And we could probably just quickly go through here and just check anyway. It looks like we've got Reckless Swing as well, which is a defense reaction, so this is not going to be counted as a 6. Or is it going to be counted as a 6 or +1? No. So that won't. And everything else is. So we've only got 5 cards in the deck, so less than 10% of the card pool of the potential, well, assuming you're playing 60, less than 10% is actually, I don't know what the percentage rate would be on that, but anyway, you're not likely to have one in your hand in the first place, and then if you did have one in hand, the rate would go up a bit, but chances are you're going to be pretty safe. Pitching anything that discards, you're going to be pretty much going to be a 6. So let's go. So it has. I'll read out the card. It says Beat Chest. As an additional cost to play this, you may discard a card with 6 or more. So chances are you've got a card with 6 or more in your hand. So this is pretty hefty to pay. When this attacks, if you've beaten Chest this turn, create an agility token. Okay, so again, like not being a brute player, this is just so confusing to me because, you know, it's not a very strong attack. Well, I guess this is a pitch card, right? So most of the time you're not wanting to play this. It's just pitch. But I guess if you had to, you have to pitch another blue or, you know, a yellow and a red, which is terrible. So you have to pitch. Essentially, you want to be playing. If you had to, you would pitch a blue, play this, beat Chest. So you're discarding another card. So one of, say, you had a couple of reds. As an additional cost to play this, you may. Okay, you may. So you don't have to. But chances are you're going to want to, if you don't have another way, to get an agility token for next turn. I guess this is like what happens with Kayo's. He seems to come in and just, like, I don't know if he's got more than one agility token, but he just hits and then hits and then hits. It seems to me like every turn he's got go again at least once, but quite often he'll have it a second time. So maybe that's something I need to pay attention to a little bit more, but I'm pretty sure he's creating more than one agility token to make his value turns really pop off. But at any rate, that's that card. So yeah, quite a strange card. Again, I think this is just used as a pitch generally, but if you had to, this is another way to get go again for the next turn. Next we've got Pack Call. This is another heavy hitters card. This is blue pitch, 3 cost, 3 block, 5 attack. When this defends, reveal the top card of your deck. If it has 6 or more attack power, put it on the top. Otherwise, put it on the bottom. So, I'm not entirely sure, like, if that's a good thing or what. Potentially, it's giving you a chance to pitch stack, maybe, by putting a Blood Rush Bellow down the bottom, if it picks it up, or a Reckless Swing. That's kind of cool. Want that late game. Anyway, so, yeah, this is either a pitch or a block. It's a great pitch card, obviously, being blue. It's a great block card, obviously, being 3, and gives you a chance to throw a Reckless Swing or a Blood Rush Bellow down the bottom. So, yeah, strange card. Sort of discreet, I guess, in some ways. Pound Town. So, another heavy hitters card. We got blue pitch, 3 cost, 3 block, 5 attack. Beat chest as an additional cost to play this. You may discard a card with 6 or more. When this attacks, if you have beaten chest this turn, create a might token. So I don't think it's quite as good as Assault and Battery, which is creating the agility token, but it's still pretty good. Again, this is a blue 3 block, so most likely just generally used as a pitch card or a block card, and that's pretty much it. Also a good card to have in hand to discard. It's just another 6 attack with Kayo's ability. The Reckless Swing, very old card, WTR. We got a 0 cost, blue pitch. This is a defense reaction for 4, so clearly taking the place of Sync Fate. And as an additional cost to play Reckless Swing, discard a random card. So it's not the same in that sense. So it's actually costing you a bit more, but it doesn't require resources. So it can be any card. If the discarded card has 6 or more, deal 2 damage to the attacking hero. Now this is typically, in my experience, used late game just to deal that last 2 damage to kill you. I guess it would also be pitch stacked to get it down there, or as we saw on the Pack Call, or was it this one? Yeah, the Pack Call. When defending, you could use that if it came up on the top of the deck. You could also put it to the bottom. Well, I mean, it would go to the bottom. Reincarnate, another blue pitch, 3 costs. This is a brute action, an attack action. When reincarnate is discarded at random, put it on the bottom of your deck. Strange. So what's going on here? Okay. So again, it's a blue pitch, standard block, 3 block, standard. Generally going to be used for that. If you were to attack with this, when reincarnated is discarded at random, put it on the bottom of your deck. Okay, so it stays in your deck. So this is just a way to recycle the card into your deck. Not sure why only playing 2. I guess needed the slots for something else, but this is pretty good card to have in hand. Obviously not great to play, being a 2 card 5. So yeah. Smash Instinct, another old one, WTR. Never read this before. This is a 3 cost. Again, I think this is just a pitch block for 3 generally, but if you did want to attack with it, it says Intimidate, target hero banishes, face down, a random card from their hand at the beginning of the end phase, return all cards to their owner's hand. Following one's instinct may be ill-advised. Interesting bit of flavor text there. Anyway, yeah, I think this is just a pitch block card, generally speaking. Haven't Nobody's ever played this to me. Anyway, Wrecker Romp, another WTR, so 2 cost 6. This is pretty tough. Like, there are very few, as far as I know, there are very few blue 6 attacks in. I'm not sure about in the game, but at least definitely in Guardian. Well, when I say not too many, there's like 6 or 7. But you know, it's not like this is a super common setup to have a blue card with a 6 attack. So no less a cost 2 6 attack, which is incredible. The Guardians 6 attacks, I believe, are usually either 3 or 4. So as an additional cost to play Wrecker Romp, discard a random card. Very strange again. I don't think this has ever been played to me. I think this is a pitch block card, but again, if you needed to, yeah, you can always play it. So there you go, that's the main board. Let's see, they've only got 48 in their main board, so that means we've got adding at least 12 cards from the inventory. Let's see, so start with Assault and Battery. We've already read this card. Obviously, he's playing the blues up here. So this is the red pitch version. 3 cost, 3 cost 7. As an additional cost to play this, you may discard a card with 6 or more if you have that in your hand, which is most likely. When this attacks, if you've beaten chess this turn, create an agility token. So I'm pretty sure this is going to be, you know, played into a lot of games. This is one of the big cards to play. Not sure why you want to take this out. Let's see if we've got any matchups. We've got matchups. You can have a look at these if you like. I'll just shout out the person who has got this deck here. This is Primetime Gaming's Road to National first place. Kalors. So good work. Maybe, you know, you can investigate later if you want to check this out and figure out why he's playing certain things into certain matchups. I'm just trying to get a basic overview. But at any rate, that's a 3 cost 7, which is pretty decent. And it creates an agility token. If you discard another card, which is, again, like the brute numbers are weird to me. Like, I mean, I'm a simple guy. I'm a simple player. I play warrior. I play brute, guardian, and you know some of the ways that the numbers work in most of the other decks. Like, they're a lot more complicated, and so, you know, to me this is kind of mystical and magical. I can't understand why, you know, you would pitch a card to get go again, but hey, you know, go again is obviously important. In my I have surmised that Go Again card might be worth 2 points. I mean, the getting Go Again might be worth 2 points of value. So, you know, playing this card and then pitching 3 to play the card, and then pitching a third card. So you're paying 3 cards to get you Go Again, and attack for 7. Yeah, I suppose all in all, maybe it brings it back to like a value of like 3 each. What is it? 3 cards, so 7, 8. So that's 9 value. 9 value for the 3 cards. So perhaps it's not too bad. I guess the real value is in when you get Go Again. You know, you can then deal X damage on top of that, and if you don't facilitate it, then you're stuck doing what Bravo does, which is pretty generally speaking just a single attack hand, which is kind of frustrating. Maybe in the next set we might get some more Go Again and you start shredding up into Kayo, getting some of the same value that he gets. But on top of all of this stuff, we've got this magic little card which came in heavy hitters. I must say, like, the art is sick. Like, I wish there was a way to get these, like, open image in a new tab. Nope. Okay, we'll do that later, but Anyway, what a rad image. This is just sick. Like, cast bones. This person is... I don't know, man. So Kayo's... What kind of sick mind, what kind of sick individual has painted this, honestly? This has got to be one of the coolest cards in the game as far as art goes. Wow. So good when it's up close. I mean, unfortunately for me, the art in the cards is really not... it's not appreciated all that well in the cards themselves because they're too damn small. But look at that! Look at that elf. This is also a strange thing. I know I'm kind of getting a little bit off topic here, but I'm very interested in fantasy art, and that's kind of why I got into this game in the first place. This is just such an interesting art piece because, like, Kayo is presumably an orc, right? Or, some sort of orc-like character. Perhaps goblin, I don't know, like in whatever world. In this world, it's probably got... He might have his own... I haven't read enough of the lore to understand. But why is there an elf on this card? I mean, seriously, it doesn't quite make sense. So maybe it's like a dark elf, like this is some kind of druid. Just sick. Anyway, I'm going to stop rambling on about that. Very, very cool. So let's read it, right? This is a red pitch, 0 cost, 3 block. This is a brute action. So only one of a few brute actions. Generally, we have got attack actions. It says reveal the top 6 cards of your deck. Create a might token for each card with 6 or more attack power, revealed this way. Put the revealed cards on the top of your deck in a random order. If you control 6 or more might tokens, create an agility token. So typically what happens with Brute playing against Kayo, they're going to pull up those top 6. They're all going to be 6. And then they're going to get plus 6. They're going to get 6 might tokens, and then they're going to get an agility token on top. I mean, how devastating is that? This card has single-handedly turned Kayo from... Kayo wasn't even an adult hero until Heavy Hitters, but, it's turned Brute from, a meh sort of a character that I didn't... is just kind of like... Almost like, to me, almost like a gimmick, like you're rolling dice, chancing it up, intimidating, do all this stuff that's kind of marginal. It sometimes works out, it sometimes doesn't. But this is just some real structure to the game. Again, it's still got that element of randomness. You may not get 6, but generally speaking, like, probably, I don't know what the stats are on this. I would say you've got at least a 50% chance of getting 6 cards with 6 or more power. Again, most likely, requiring the KO effect of turning a 5 into a 6. But generally speaking, you're going to get that. You're going to get your... And even if you don't, you're still getting, for zero cost, you have not even paid for this. It's just a single card, so it's only cost you the value of the card, which is 3 to 4 points. 3.5 points, as Bagel TCG says. 3.5 points of value, and you are getting probably at least 5. If it's 5, very unlikely to be any less. So you're getting 5. So super good value, and more than likely you're going to be getting 6 mites and an agility. Okay, let's move on. What a card, really. Clash of Agility. So this is a red pitch, 2 cost, 3 block, 6 attack. Surprise, surprise. When this defends, clash with the attacking hero, the winner creates an agility token. So this is yet another way to create an agility token. So you're not going to get that if you attack, only if you defend with this. Clashing heroes reveal the top card of their deck. The hero that reveals a card with the greatest attack power wins. Again, Kayo's ability, giving whatever that card is a +1. So all the 6s turn into 7s, all the 7s turn into 8s, all the 8s turn into 9s, all the 5s turn into 6s. Like, I think Kayo has the best ability to win clashes out of any hero at the moment. He is just an abomination. He is a disease. He's a stain, actually, on the meta, and I personally just hate him. Anyway, this is just such a good card for him to play. This is basically just an attack. This is basically just a block card for him. So good. But he can also, obviously, attack for 6. He could also discard this to trigger any of the discard effects. So this is just tough. Okay, moving on, we got Humble. Now, this is a card that I play into KO to try and beat him. It's a red pitch, 2 costs, 2 block, unfortunately, and it is a 6 attack again. It says when this hits a hero, that hero loses all abilities until the end of their next turn. I am really not sure why he would want to use this. I did play this card into Levia last night, and it was brutal. It ripped her apart because what it essentially did was stopped her from being able to turn off Blood Debt. So perhaps it's in here to beat Levia. I don't know. I don't know what other cards this is, what other heroes this is good into in specific. I mean, I'm sure it's good into a lot of heroes. I know it doesn't work into Dash, I think it is, because Dash's ability lets them put an item into the arena at the start of the game, and that's it. So if they don't have their ability in the later game, it doesn't matter. But anyway, he's obviously got it in the sideboard here for some reason. So again, if you know which characters this would play into the best, please let me know in the comments down below. I would love to know. Or we're probably going to discover as well. I plan to discover by going through all these different heroes. So no fear. This is something that Kayo seems to play a lot. This is a red pitch, 0 cost, brute instant. Strange. And it says, as an additional cost to play this, banish any number of cards with 6 or more attack from your hand at the beginning of your end phase. Return them to your hand. So, very strange. Banishing them. Banish any number of cards with 6 or more from your hand as an additional cost to play this. So, I think generally this is played on the opposing heroes, on the opponent's turn. And then it says the next time you'll be dealt damage this turn, prevent X of that damage, where X is 2 plus the number of cards banished to play this. So it's kind of like a proportional defense mechanic where you could just play this and 1 card, and you would essentially prevent 3. If it's a 6. We're assuming these are 6 cards. So if they needed to block out the whole hand, I suppose, you could potentially have 3 other cards in your hand, all 6. So you play this, plus the 3 other cards is 5 all up. Right? So they can block 5 damage doing this, and all those cards come back to their hand. That's pretty crazy value, right? That is very crazy value. A 1 card 5. I don't think there's any other card that does that. Extremely good value. Pretty sick art too. Look at the size of those jaws. This thing is just nuts, man. Some big like woolly mammoth thing, like a woolly dragon. I don't know. Okay, let's move on. Right, so we got next one. We got Pulping. This is a red pitch, 2 costs. No block, 6 attack. Very strange with the no block. Okay, so it says draw a card, then discard a random card. If a card with 6 or more is discarded this way, Pulping games dominate. The defending hero can't defend Pulping with more than 1 card from hand, while Pulping is defended by less than 2 non-equipment cards. It has Go Again. So this is an excellent card. For getting Go Again. Pretty straightforward in some ways, a little bit strange with the dominate thing there, but generally speaking, this is going to give you This is going to get dominate, and then it's going to get go again. So this is one of the ways that they can hit you twice, at least twice in one turn, pretty easily, really. I still kind of don't get it because you got to pitch one, then you got to discard one. So that's 2 cards gone out of your hand. You've paid for this. You've only got 1 floating. Then you get go again. You still got to pay to attack, or you got 1 floating. I guess if you had 1 in Arsenal, I don't know. Like it still really baffles me that Kayo does so well. I just don't understand. I mean, maybe I have to actually play it to actually feel the the cards working the way they do. But anyway, we'll move on here. So we've got runner. This is a red pitch, 2 cost, 3 block, 6 attack. Surprise, surprise. When this attacks, if it has go again, create an agility token. What the hell? So this is just like, this is just really piling up. If you've already got an agility in hand, like you've already got an agility on the board from last turn, you play this, you've got go. When this attacks, create an agility. Yeah, so then you create, you go bang, you've got go again, it gives you another agility for next turn, and then you can swing again with something else. Crazy card, can't understand why it's in the sideboard. Would have thought this would be in every match, but hey, you brute players out there, tell me how this works. So, okay, send patching, we're into yellow pitches now, so this is a 3 cost, 3 block, 6 attack. When this attacks a hero, banish a card from their arsenal. When the chain link resolves, if this didn't hit, return the banished card to its owner's hand. It's banished face up. Super weird. When this attacks a hero, banish a card from their arsenal. Yep. When the chain link resolves, if this didn't hit, return the banished card to its owner's hand. So kind of annoying that it returns it to your hand and not to your arsenal for one. But I guess it's just like some cards you want in Arsenal because they want to be played from Arsenal. But anyway, so I guess where this is annoying is when you've got a D-react in there and it banishes it. So then you can't. Then you got to block with your hand rather than your D-react. Sort of messes up your play there. But anyway, next card, Smashing Performance, yellow pitch, 3 cost, no block. This is a 6 attack. When this attacks, draw a card, then discard a random card. If a card with 6 or more is discarded this way, destroy a random item in the arena. Clearly played into your Mechanologist matches, perhaps others. And the flavoured text there, the scent of blood, the roar of the crowd, the enemies beneath your mace, all bear witness to the rise of a new champion. Cox, Deathmatch Fight Master. Interesting. So, strange. So, just reading that again. So, when this attacks, draw a card, then discard a random card. If a card with 6 or more is discarded this way, destroy a random item in the arena. Strange again, but I guess, something that gets sideboarded in against Mechanologist. Got the Heart and Cross Trap here in place of the... What's he playing up here? Fienda Spring Tunic. So I'm not sure why this would be in. This is a super old common card. Action Destroy. Heart and Cross Trap. The next attack action card you play this turn costs 2 less to play. Go again. So again, really don't know why this would be sideboarded in. Clearly it's it's going to be pretty good it's going to be pretty good at the time you pop it, but it doesn't give any additional value once it's done. You also can't block with this, whereas Fiendals you get at least 1 block. So strange, but I have noted that people do play this at some point. I'm not sure which matchup again. Null Rune, obviously, for the Wizard matchup, or Dromai. And Skullhorn, a replacement for the Scowling Flesh Bag. What does Skullhorn do? Action, destroy Skullhorn, draw a card, then discard a random card, go again. A way to cycle your hand. Pretty strange, pretty strange. Arcane Barrier 2, if your hero would be dealt arcane damage, you may pay 2 instead. If you do prevent 2 arcane damage that source would deal. Maybe this is just a sort of Arcane Barrier thing. So it's only sideboarded in against Wizards, or you wouldn't play this into Dromai because you only need 1. But yeah, I'd say that's what it is, because otherwise, if it was just for the cycling ability, you would simply just play Crown of Dominion, Crown of Providence. Okay, so that's it. Now, I really don't want to labour on this anymore. I think all in all, Kayo, what a prick of a hero. I'm not sure what else I can say about this. We're at 51 minutes, so been going for a fair while, a lot longer than the 20 minutes I'd hoped for. I still don't understand, like, really how this deck works. Like, it's all, like, I mean, obviously it's all there. I don't know if I can actually make any sense of this. I still like, just looking at it, it's just like, how does this operate? You know, like, such weird, like, with the discard mechanic and these elements of randomness, which are not as random, I guess, in this instance. The scab skins, still people roll that. I don't know why it's not, particularly. I guess it's like, yeah. Anyway, like, final summary points. I don't know that I've actually got any. I'm just gobsmacked at how brutal this deck is. Cast Bones obviously is a menace. There was a card that, before I go to that, as a wrap up, like I said, Cast Bones, pretty tough, gives them a lot of power. You got things like No Fear, giving them some defensive. You got Runner, giving them agility, and attack, giving them go again. Doesn't seem to be huge amounts of go again. I guess it's this agile wind-up which they pitch. I'm going to have to play a few more times into this and try and figure out a way to consistently win or up the chances of winning as Bravo. I don't play a Fatigue Bravo. I just play like a kind of mid-range. I suppose you either play defensively with the Shield and Titan's Fist, or you play a little bit more aggressively. I have been playing Humbles into KO, which seems to be pretty good. I've also played around with using Warmongers. I'm not sure that Warmongers is that effective against him, considering there's not that many actions. There's a couple there. I suppose Cast Bones is an action. Blood Rush Bellows is an action. What else we got? I think that's it for the actions, right? Yeah, so it's not. I mean, it's not. I don't think Warmongers is going to be that effective. Again, if you think otherwise, please let me know. Otherwise, I mean, I really don't know how to beat this guy. This is just he just stomps on me, man. I'm seriously considering playing him. He's so good. But anyway, that's the wrap up. So we've just gone through the deck to try and understand the hero and one of the common sort of deck setups. I'd also be interested in hearing if anyone else knows of a different deck setup that kind of changes the way the game plays, or some other cards that have effectively been used within this deck. I'd really be interested to see. Please let me know in the comments. Otherwise, yeah, that's it. All done. Peace.